Welcome to Solar Age, where we explore the amazing future ahead. Each episode explores how clean energy, AI, and innovative technologies are paving the way to an era of abundance and freedom for all. Join us as we uncover how the Solar Age is reshaping our world for a brighter, more sustainable future for everyone.
All right, so today we're ditching the dystopia.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, and instead we are going to be diving into something, well, a bit more hopeful. We're going to be talking about solar energy and AI and even things like universal basic income.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and how these advancements could, maybe even lead us to, like, an era of abundance.
It is interesting, how instead of the usual kind of doom and gloom, all the sources you gave me actually paint a picture of technology, like actually driving, positive change for once.
Yeah.
So we've got The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil.
Yep.
And then some insights from Tony Seba from RethinkX.
Yeah.
Both of these are offering a really optimistic perspective. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I have to say, diving into these sources this time, like, it really did feel like a breath of fresh air. I mean, honestly, like, everywhere you look these days, it's just like societal collapse and resource scarcity.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. But what if there's another story waiting to be told,
What if there is? What if there is another story waiting to be told?
Yeah.
Totally. And that story, I think, probably starts with, the rise of the solar age, right?
Okay.
One of the reports you sent me, it highlights how solar and battery storage are actually, believe it or not, becoming cheaper than fossil fuels.
Wow.
I mean, that's a big deal. That's a huge game changer.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like no longer even a question of if we can transition to clean energy, but like how quickly.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And speaking of fossil fuels, there's this YouTube video you sent, and it was about the health consequences of living close to a coal plant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. They were saying that you could lose up to 20 years of life expectancy just from living near a coal plant. It makes you think twice about the true cost of our energy choices.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. No, I mean, you're right. It really makes you stop and think. I mean, obviously, renewables are going to offer us a much healthier alternative, not just for the planet, but for you and me, right?
Yeah.
For our well-being.
Absolutely.
And this is kind of where AI starts to play, I think, a pretty crucial role.
Okay, yeah. So this is where things get a little mind-blowing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So RethinkX is suggesting that AI won't actually be replacing humans,
Okay.
but instead will actually be optimizing how we use all of our resources.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's about working smarter, not harder.
I like that. Yeah, work smarter, not harder. I mean, that's basically it. Imagine if AI could manage these complex systems I don't know, power grids.
Yeah.
Or even agriculture.
Wow.
With amazing efficiency, minimizing waste, maximizing output,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge step toward really sustainable growth.
Yeah. It's like having this super intelligent assistant,
Yeah.
Helping us create a more efficient, balanced world, I guess.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And so I'm starting to see now how this kind of ties into this concept of abundance.
Yeah.
But, where does Kurzweil fit into all this?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, Kurzweil, he kind of takes this whole optimization idea even further. So in The Singularity is Near, he predicts a future where, get this, human intelligence merges with AI.
Wow.
Yeah. And this leads to exponential advancements in technology.
Okay. That's the singularity, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the singularity.
It kind of sounds like science fiction.
It does, doesn't it?
What does he envision happening in this merged reality?
Well, he believes that this fusion of the human and artificial intelligence, this is going to unlock solutions to some of humanity's biggest challenges, disease,
Wow.
poverty, climate change, all of that.
It's a bold vision.
It is a bold vision for sure. And you know what? Tony Seba from RethinkX, he shares a similar optimism. He's all about the potential of technology to disrupt traditional industries and create like these massive social and economic benefits.
So we've got like Kurzweil talking about like the mind-blowing singularity, and we've got Seba highlighting like the disruptive power of clean technologies. They both seem to believe that like technology can be a force for good, like pushing us towards this like future of abundance.
Exactly. But it's not just about like, fancy gadgets and futuristic scenarios. It's about like what all this technology actually enables us to do.
Yeah.
For example, like let's talk about universal basic income, or UBI. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, UBI, that's been like a hot topic.
Yeah, okay.
It's the idea of like providing everybody with a guaranteed income regardless of like their employment status.
That's it. That's the gist of it.
Right.
Yeah. Now, UBI, I mean, it definitely has its critics.
Of course.
And it's important to like acknowledge those concerns. However, it's also presented as like a potential outcome of this like whole era of abundance, like, a way to ensure that like everybody actually benefits from like these technological advancements.
Okay. So instead of being like afraid of robots taking our jobs, we could be looking at a future where everyone actually has like a basic level of like financial security.
Exactly.
And allowing them to like pursue their passions or contribute to society in like new ways.
Exactly. And remember that YouTube video about like the effects of like the coal plants?
Yeah.
Well, it also highlighted how advancements in like, solar and wind and like battery technologies are actually making a 100% renewable energy grid like a real possibility, like even today.
Wow, that's really encouraging.
Right.
It's not just a distant dream. It's something that we can like actively work toward.
Exactly. And like if we kind of connect all these dots, you start to see like a very different picture from like all those dystopian narratives we've been talking about, that are always dominating the cultural landscape these days. Imagine a world powered by clean energy, optimized by AI. Everyone is a basic safety net.
It's a future where like we can move beyond scarcity.
Yeah.
And like step into like an era of abundance, not just like resources, but like opportunities too.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's what's so exciting about these sources. They challenge us to like rethink the narrative, to imagine a future where technology can actually help us build like a more sustainable and equitable world.
Yeah.
I'm
ready to dive deeper into this idea of abundance and explore like what it means for like us on a personal level.
Well, then let's get to it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to think about how this whole like shift towards abundance could like reshape our societal structures, like especially in the realm of, work.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. I mean, if robots and AI are like handling a lot of the tasks we do today, then like what will be left for, us to do? Are we all just going to become like artists and philosophers?
Yeah. I think that's a pretty common misconception, that work is just going to like vanish. I think it's more likely that we'll see like a transformation of like the very nature of work itself.
So like instead of fearing that robots are going to like steal our jobs, we should be thinking about how they might actually like free us up to pursue like different kinds of work.
Yeah, precisely. RethinkX really emphasizes this like shift. As technology automates like more and more of those routine tasks, humans will be able to like, focus on things that require like creativity and critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, like the uniquely human skills that machines, aren't so good at.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's not about like being replaced. It's about technology, like taking care of the mundane, like allowing us to explore our passions and tackle more like complex problems.
Exactly. And this kind of ties back into like Kurzweil's whole vision of the singularity. If human intelligence merges with AI, like he predicts, it won't just be about like robots doing all our work, it'll be about us, working with AI, like actually enhancing, our own capabilities.
So instead of like fearing AI, we should see it as like a powerful tool that can like empower us to achieve even greater things.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And, we can't forget about like the economic implications of all this. I mean, remember, Tony Seba talks about like massive economic and social benefits coming from these like, technological disruptions.
Right. But how would a world of like abundance actually change our like economy?
Yeah.
I mean, would we still need things like money and markets?
Yeah, those are the $1 million questions. And there aren't any like easy answers, but your sources, they offer some pretty intriguing possibilities.
Okay.
Like imagine a world with abundant, clean energy. this could like fundamentally alter how we like produce and consume goods.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Energy costs are like, they're a major factor in almost every industry.
Yeah.
With cheap, abundant energy from like, from the sun, those costs would like totally plummet.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from like manufacturing to like transportation, it would all become less expensive.
Right. And that could like trigger this like ripple effect throughout the whole economy. I mean, we could produce more goods and services at lower prices, potentially leading to like a higher standard of living for like, for everyone.
So it's not just about like having more stuff.
No.
It's about like having access to the things we like need and want in a more like sustainable and equitable way.
Exactly. And if you combine that with like, AI optimizing resource use and production processes, I mean, we start to see like a path toward like a radically different like economic model,
Yeah. It is interesting to think about how like this abundance might reshape like our values too.
Mm-hmm.
Right now our society is like largely built around like competition and scarcity.
Right.
What happens when those fundamental assumptions are like challenged?
That's a really good point. I mean, what if, like, in a world of abundance, we actually become more, like, cooperative, more community-oriented?
Yeah, definitely a possibility. And let's not forget about, like, the environmental impact of all of this. I mean, shifting to renewable energy and, like, optimizing resource use, that would be a game changer for the planet.
No question. Absolutely. I mean, it's not a silver bullet, but it's definitely, like, a critical step in addressing like climate change and, creating a more sustainable future for everyone.
So like, what does all this abundance actually mean for like, for you,
Yeah.
The listener?
That's the question we should all be asking ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, what I find fascinating is that like, if we can actually embrace these changes, if we can adapt our thinking, our systems, the solar age could offer us more than just like material abundance. It could offer us like a chance to build a more like just and sustainable world, a world where like everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
And that's a vision worth like striving for.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to think about all the possibilities that like could unfold if we just like leaned into these advancements instead of like, fearing them. But I imagine there are going to be like challenges along the way, right?
Of course, this transition won't be like, a walk in the park or anything. There are definitely hurdles to overcome and complexities to navigate, But I think that like understanding those challenges is like the first step towards like addressing them effectively.
So what kind of like hurdles are we talking about? Like what should we like be prepared for as we, as we journey towards like this solar age?
Well, for one thing, I think we need to be prepared for like some social and economic disruption,
Yeah.
I mean, these technological advancements, like while they're ultimately going to be like, beneficial,
Right.
they're probably going to shake up, like existing industries, job markets,
Yeah.
I think we really need to like figure out how to manage those transitions fairly and thoughtfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like thinking about things like retraining programs for like workers whose jobs become automated and like safety nets for those who are like displaced during the transition.
Yeah. I mean, we really need to make sure that everybody benefits from like this technological progress, not just like a select few. And then, of course, there are going to be like political challenges to navigate as well.
Well, I can only imagine. I mean, technological change often creates like winners and losers, So it's going to lead to like resistance from those who, who benefit from the current system.
Exactly. Those who like hold power, they might like resist these disruptions, even if they ultimately lead to like a better future for like everyone, right? We've got to find ways to like overcome those like political hurdles if we really want to like unlock the full potential of like the solar age.
So it sounds like we need like a multi-pronged approach.
I think so.
Like technological innovation, like smart policy making, and a willingness to just like adapt as a society.
I couldn't agree more. And that's where you come in.
Yeah.
You, the listener,
Oh,
like understanding these trends, being aware of the potential, like, benefits and challenges,
Yeah.
This is like a crucial first step, I think.
Okay.
Like it empowers you to like engage in informed discussions, make conscious choices, and help shape the future you want to see.
It's not about like passively observing these changes.
No.
It's about like actively participating
Exactly.
in like creating the future. We all have a role to play in like
Yeah.
shaping this transition towards a solar age.
Yeah, exactly. And here's a final thought to ponder.
Okay.
If technology really can, like create a world of abundance, a world beyond scarcity, what will you do with your newfound freedom and resources?
That's a really powerful question.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what will our priorities be? How will we like define success and purpose in a world where like basic needs are met? These are like really important questions worth like exploring both, individually and as a society.
Yeah, I think you're right. Perhaps those are the questions that, we'll tackle in our next deep dive.
Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep imagining like the future you want to create. Thanks for joining us on this journey into, the solar age.
If you enjoyed this episode of The Solar Age, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you won't miss any future episodes. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below about what resonated with you or share any ideas you'd like us to explore in upcoming episodes. Let's keep the conversation about a brighter future going.